Good morning, children. How are you? It's story time again. Now, please listen to our story. Our story for today is the continuation of our story last Saturday. This time is about David flees from Saul's pursuit but twice spares Saul's life. Sa quick review, adto nga time na nahitabo nga battle between Israelites and the Philistines. So the Philistines sent forth their most feared warrior, a champion from Gath, a giant man who was of war since his youth, ug ang iyahang ngalan kay si Goliath. Pero si Goliath napatay siya ni David. Kinsa man si David? David was a man according to God's heart. He was also the youngest son of Jesse Bethlehemite. Dayon, take care po siya og mga sheep. Dayon, proceed sa itong story. After David killed Goliath, Saul took him into his service. Because David acted in a wise and careful way on every mission that Saul sent him, Saul set him over his army. Then one day, David returned from striking the Philistines. Then all the women in all of the town of Israel came out singing and dancing to meet Saul the king. Then sa ilahang kanta, niingon sila nga, Saul has struck down his thousands, but David his 10,000s. Sa pagkadungog ni Saul ani, nasuko dayon siya. He was very angry. Dayon, nasuko siya kay nganong mas daghan pa man ang napatay ni David kontra sa iyaha. Dayon mauto nga nasuko siya ug naselos na dayon siya kay David. Then gusto na dayon niya nga patyon si David. Pero si King Saul naa siya anak nga si Jonathan. Unya si Jonathan, he loved David. Then mauto nga pagkabalo ni Jonathan nga patyon sa iyang papa si David, iyaha dayon gi-reveal kay David ang plano ni Saul. Iyahang giingnan si David. Jonathan told David that he needs to run away and he needs to hide. Kay iyahang papa was very determined na patyon gyud niya si David. Dayon mauto nga si Saul iyahadyong ginagukod. He pursued David to many places, including Nob, Adullam, Mizpah, Hereth, and Engedi, and many other places. Kunya ang iyahang paggukod ni David was not just for a short period of time, but Saul pursued David for many years. Kay gusto gid niya nga patyon si David. Tungod kay naselos man siya kay David. Bisan pa man gani katong mga nang tabang kay David para makatago siya, iyahang gi-ordered nga pamatyon sila bisag mga priests of God. So ingana gyud ang iyahang pagkadeterminado nga patyon niya si David. So katong nga time kay makaguol kaayo nga time para kay David. That time was a very distressful and a very trying time of David. Pero si David, he just prayed and trusted in God and continually relied on God and even to those whom God sent to help him. So mao gito ang ginabuhat ni David. Bisan pa man gani naagi mga times nga si David magpapretend na lang siya nga he was a madman. Kanang he was a crazy person para lang yun nga makakuan siya kanang maka-escape siya sa mga territories sa iyahang enemy. So mauto nga si David, he hide from different places. And among them was cave, a forest, and the wilderness. Pero ang Ginoo dili gid niya ilet si Saul nga iyahang madakpan si David. No, bisan pa man gani nga si Saul, he pursued David together with his men, pero ang Ginoo dili gid niya i-allow nga madakpan ni Saul si David. The first time nga gispare ni David ang life ni Saul was in the wilderness of Engedi. Pagkadungog ni Saul nga naa si David and his men in the wilderness of Engedi, he took his 3,000 chosen men to seek David and his men. Mauto nga pagkaabot nila dito sa wilderness, nigsulod sila sa usa sa mga caves didto. Nya wala sila kabalo nga naa di ay sa likod si David together with his men dito sa likod sa cave. Then, mauto pagkakita ni David og sa iyahang mga tawo nga naa na day dito silang Saul, ni ana din niingon dayon ang one of David's men. He said, "The day is here of Jehovah said to you, I am about to give your enemy into your hand. Do then to him according to what seems good in your sight." So, without being noticed, si David iyahang gi-cut off ang corner sa cloak ni Saul. Kabalo mo sa cloak? Ang cloak, isa na siya ka kupo. Dayon mauto nga, pagka human ato, David's heart smite him. David's heart smite him, then ingon dayon siya sa iyahang men, "Jehovah forbid that I should do such a thing to my Lord, Jehovah's anointed. I stretch out my hand against him, for he is Jehovah's anointed." So David, dili ni allow ni David nga naay mopatay ni Saul. Mauto nga si Saul, ninggawas dayon sila sa cave. Then, pagkagawas nila sa cave, gitawag dayon ni David si Saul, saying, "My Lord the King, why do you listen to men's words that say, David now seeks your harm? Just this day your eyes have seen that Jehovah gave you into my hand today in the cave. And though some told me to kill you, I spared you and said, I will not stretch out my hand against my Lord, for he is Jehovah's anointed." Then, gipakita dayon ni David ang katong corner sa cloak ni Saul nga naa sa iyahang mga kamot. Mauto nakaingon dayon si Saul nga na-realize dayon niya nga David was more righteous than him. The second time nga gispare ni David ang life ni Saul was on the hill of Hakila. Pagkabalo magud ni Saul nga naa na po dito si David, nagtago, iyahan na po dayong gisik si David. Dahil nag-encamp sila dito nga lugar. Dahil one night ana, si David and one of his men, named Abishai, niadto sila dito sa lugar kung asa nag-encamp silang Saul. Dayon walay nakabalo ato kay tulog man kaayo sila ato nga time. Then pagkahuman si Abishai, gusto na kaayo niya patyon si Saul because for him it was an easy opportunity nga patyon niya si Saul. Then niingon din siya kay David, "God has delivered your enemy into your hand today. Now therefore let me strike him with a spear even to the ground with one stroke, and I will not do it twice." Pero si David wala siya nisugot nga himuon to ni Abishai. Then giingnan niya si Abishai, "Do not destroy him, for who can stretch out his hand against Jehovah's anointed and be guiltless? Jehovah forbid that I should stretch out my hand against Jehovah's anointed." Mauto nga, giingnan nang ni David si Abishai nga kwaon ang spear o ang water jug ni Saul dahil manglakaw na dayon sila. Then, wala dyan nakabalo ato nga time nga nakaadto sila ato dito. Then, David crossed over to the other side and stood on the top of the hill far off. Then, iyahang gitawag ang mga tawo og si Abner. Si Abner was in charge of Saul's army. Then iyahang gi-rebuke si Abner. Then niingon si David, "Why then have you not guarded your Lord the king? For one of the people came in to destroy the king your Lord. You are as good as dead because you did not guard your Lord, Jehovah's anointed." Then mauto nga ningkuan siya ning singgit si David kay Abner nga naa sa iyaha ang ang spear ni Saul ug ang water jug ni Saul. Dayon mauto nga iya hatong gipakita kay para mo to'y proof ba nga nakapaduol na pod si David kay Saul pero wala gid niya gipatay si Saul. Unya pagkahuman ato, Saul recognized David's voice. Then niingon siya, "Is this your voice, my son David?" O then nitubag pod si David, "It is my voice, my lord, O king. Why does my lord pursue after his servants? For what have I done? Or what evil is in my hand? The king of Israel has come forth to seek a single flea, as one might hunt a partridge in the mountains." Then niingon po si Saul, "I have sinned. Return, my son David, for I will not harm you anymore, because my life was precious in your sight this day. I have indeed acted foolishly and have made a very great mistake." Dayon mauto nga gipakita ni David kang Saul ang iyahang spear sa iyan. Pagkahuman gignan niya si King Saul nga dalon padtuon ang isa sa iyahang mga tawo para kwaon ang iyahang spear. Dayon giingnan dayon ni David si King Saul. "Jehovah will repay to each man his righteousness and his faithfulness, because Jehovah has delivered you into my hand today, and I would not stretch out my hand against Jehovah's anointed. Then just as great as your life was in my eyes this day, so great may my life be in Jehovah's eyes, that he will deliver me from all distress." Then niingon po dayon si Saul sa kay David, "Blessed are you, my son David. You shall most certainly both do and prevail." And David went on his way, and Saul returned to his place. So that's all, children. I hope you listened well to our story. Thank you. Bye-bye.